Hello, my friend. I wanted to focus today on. I realize that in our loops and scoops, we've been doing a lot of loops, and I think today is the time for scoops to real to bring in nourishment, to bring in support, to bring in connection. Um, here in the States, it's been wild. No, it's been wild for 9 or 10 years, but it's accelerated pretty wild now. And so it was occurring to me that we try to get a lot of our nourishment this way, and that's great. But I also was thinking about, I wanted to just introduce our card today right away. If you've got that, Michelle, because yeah, so we'll wait just a second for this as we're changing schedules here and changing the order of things while she's looking for that. We have a source of nourishment that we live on, and most of us don't really connect to, which is the energy of the earth. And so I want to invite you, especially to let your feet get really, like you to take a moment and move your feet as if they were your hands. I'd like you to let yourself just to open up your feet, finding a uh, finding the spaces, letting the bottoms of your feet be open. And I'd like you to imagine that your feet have roots and that those roots can just very easily reach down, and they don't have to reach. All they need to do is open to receive the nourishment, the of water, the nourishment of flow, the nourishment of support. And I'd love for you to let your feet actively slurp that up and let all of that energy, love, support, whatever it is that you're feeling depleted about, that you would like to have more of a full experience, just to let that flow into you and letting that fill you up. And as that's happening, as I'm doing that, I can feel my body wanting to do a kind of a wiggle, like kelp and seaweed, a little wiggle to let that move up and through. So notice how your body can support you in allowing that flow of support, that flow of connection to move up and through you, moving out through your arms and your fingers, moving up through your spine, moving up and around your heart. And the adventures, the reason we have a little door in this beautiful card that is about rooting, about the practice of rooting, is that inside you and down in all of your connections, both inside you and around you, is a connection to everything else. So to realize that you're connected, that you can be supported as much as you like, and that there's a source of nourishment that can flow through you all the time. And let yourself feel if there's any place in you, like I can feel it, especially up my back, that I'm inviting more opening. I can feel little stuck places in my back. Your back is where anger flows, and I've been experiencing, as I imagine many of you have been, sort of waves of anger about various things going on, and making space for the flow of connection to move through those areas that feel tight or gritchy. And I also can feel, and I invite you to feel up into your jaw, because this is the strongest muscle in your body, your jaw muscles. You could break a bone by really going gang, by that's how strong you are in your jaw, and letting that flow also move through your jaw. And there may be sounds that want to be made. There may be a little jiggling that wants to happen in your jaw to, again, make space for the flow of nourishment. And there may be expressions that want to happen. So I want to also invite you. We can come on back to the group now, because I just wanted you to have that image in you, because since I was a kid, I have loved the fairy stories where somebody's wandering in the woods and they find a door in this great big tree, and they open the door and go down into the tree and have all of these adventures and discoveries, and and literally sometimes discover gold, discover. So inside you, as you give yourself that loving attention, are all kinds of treasures, all kinds of things to wake up to and to let yourself experience. And so I'd like you to now bring your attention back to your feet and notice if your feet feel livelier. Mine do. Mine, I'm getting more wiggling and more alive is in my feet, and realizing that right around us and underneath us all the time is the energy that supports all of us. And we can let that support us as we're moving through the world. So with that, also would love you to tune into what kind of attention would you most like today? Because as we're just sharing attention, you can put in the chat what kind of attention you would like. And as we're doing loop of awareness, sharing attention, we can add those qualities. So one quality that I've been returning to in the last few days is wonder, and using to open up to wonder, because the tendency right now, at least for many of us, is to just hunker. You just hunker until, sometime a week or more from now. So we just hunker. And I invite you to let the energy of attention and the energy of the earth allow you to expand into giving and receiving the kind of attention that you want. So, Michelle, do we have any wants?
Yeah. Well, empathetic and kindness are two that feel related. So
Yeah, beautiful. So when I hear kindness, my hands immediately go to my heart. So let yourself play with kindness and how it has felt to you when you have received kindness, and what is the quality of kindness? How can I add kindness to my attention? I was seeing a little video of Kamala interacting with a woman who was having a lot of emotions. And what I perceived, and I have it on my Facebook feed now, was her sharing attention, kindness with this woman who was having a lot of feelings, and supporting her for having emotions. It was beautiful. And so I think of kindness as I'm open-hearted toward. So I invite you to let all of that wonderful energy that you can bring up through your feet and up through your legs, and then let that come out through your heart to the group here, and then back to you. And you can combine that with the loves group if you want, I think a lot of our hearts have been challenged mightily. And so giving kindness to your own heart, as I'm doing that, as I'm talking, I can feel the vibration. So I invite you to give yourself a as you're giving kindness to yourself for whatever you're experiencing, whatever you're feeling right now. And then kindness to people out beyond this group. So through this group and then out to other people. Several people I know have had people either dying or in the process of dying, and I want to send kindness to them. So we can do that across time and space and letting that land and also letting it soak in, just like the nourishment that comes up through the roots. And then again, bringing that back to you, any place in you that you would like to experience kindness. And what was the other one, Michelle, that went with that? It was empathy? Empathy. Okay. So I think of empathy is feeling with. And so I'd love for you to let yourself just be curious about what other people on the call are feeling and letting yourself just be with that for a moment. So as you're tuning in, as you're coming toward, I find that my breathing, because I've noticed I've been holding my breath. When I come back to me, I realize I'm sort of in a so empathy also, I think, influences your breath, letting yourself be with and then being with, and realizing that you don't have to do anything, that the power of your attention is sufficient. It's more than enough. So being with, so what's a new way that you could be with you? Hmm. I find that softness is the word that comes to me. It's softening rough edges, grit, and then letting that being with and that softening go out to groups of people or, to a whole community or specific people that you want to send that to. And again, letting it soak in. Because a lot of what I think is happening right now is that people are so frantic that they're not actually able to pause. And like when there's a drought and it's gotten really really severe, the water can't really penetrate. So how can you open your body so that the nourishment can actually penetrate, and that you can be with what is happening? And did we have any others that wanted to, any other qualities?
Yeah, Marion had put possibilities, miracles
Mm.
possible.
Yes, yeah, beautiful. I get more of a sort of sparkle when I think of possibilities. And so I'd invite you to use the because that really opens you to wonder. And then I love letting little sparkles or little, little, little jewels of light land on you and land out there. I wonder, and letting yourself open. Now, this is a great time for the upper limit problem. We were just watching Lincoln Lawyer. Oh, and for those of you who like this show, I don't want to give it away, but there's a very strong upper limit thing that happens at the end of the series. And I thought, wow, our our entire culture has for a long time supported look out, don't expand too much because what goes up must come down. And I've seen that in so many movies and so many shows. And so I want you to challenge your own upper limit script of, oh, possibilities. Oh, look out. So let yourself notice that fluctuation in you. Oh, a new possibility. Oh, we could be really connected with each other and supporting each other. Uh-oh, look out. So that, my sense is that's the challenge right now, is to return to and possibilities and just loving whatever, particularly the fear that comes up, because there's we've been inundated with fear messages, especially in the last 10 years. But, I think since 9/11, that's really fear has been so prevalent. And that's part of why I wanted you to experiment with rooting today and to experiment with what's a flow that I can return to that allows me to feel connected and playing with how can I connect? Am I willing to have others connect with me? And letting that be really a tuning fork for you over this next week or more. And then I want to come into what our Presence Connect play is for today. Ah, Presence says essence pace to be aware of yourself and others. So just right now, so essence pace is moving at a pace through your life that allows you to be aware of you and to be aware of others. And so as you're just being here, I'd like you to let yourself get really speeded up. Just let your body get really speeded up and all the things that you got to do today and all the things that are pressing in and then I'd like you to get really, really slow, kind of like even going into a faint that, oh, what's the use? I'll just go back to bed and I'll go back to bed until next year and let it all work that out. And then I'd like you to let yourself start to play with that flow in you and letting yourself move just as you're sitting, because you don't have to get up and walk around to have your essence pace. You can get your essence pace in your breathing. What's a way of breathing, a pace of breathing that allows you to be aware of you and to be aware of others? So I invite you to play with essence pace because my sense is that most of us are going to be either very, very speedy or very slowed down. And so finding the pace that allows you again to feel connected. Connected is our touch point for this week. And connect is to reflect feelings. So my sense is that when I look at people now, I can sense there's a whole bunch of feeling going on. And I was reflecting back again to Kamala being with this woman, and she actually stopped her at one point and said something like, um, you're celebrate that you feel emotions. It's great that you feel emotions. She was really affirming that. And so affirming the flow, like I was giving a talk with Gay over the weekend, and I just said to people right away that I am flowing a lot now, and I might cry at the drop of a hat, and letting that be all right for us to feel and for other people to feel around you, because that is such a deep source of connection for all of us. And then play says chunk, chunk. And when when I'm talking to people, and especially in the old days, I would be, like a butterfly that would start out over here, and then I go over here, and then I'd ask people to do this. And so I think chunking right now is really important for us rather than, oh my God, I've got to do that. So what's one thing that you're experiencing right now? So I'd like you to finish a sentence. So right now I'm experiencing, and then just notice. And that's a chunk. So right now, sort of a one out breath. Right now I'm experiencing. Right now I'm noticing. And right now I'm feeling. And right now I'm seeing. And that chunking is also a way to slow yourself down, to like not try to absorb everything all at once, but just a little chunk. And also, how can you choose a different direction? So like there's a bunch of stuff that's going to be coming at everybody this week. And how can you make a different choice of where to turn your attention? Where is some place that you can turn your attention that is always nourishing for you? So for me, it is being or even looking out at my yard and seeing the butterflies and particularly seeing the hummingbirds moving around allows me to feel, life is happening, life is connecting, life is producing all these possibilities all the time. So my guess is that you and I are going to get stuck lots of times this week, and letting yourself return to the flow of connection allows me to also choose and be smart about what I'm choosing to do, who I'm choosing to connect with more deeply this week as a source of nourishment. And if you would be willing to look at who might you be a source of nourishment for, and then that giving and receiving, where we all get to expand in more aliveness and more connection. All right. So thank you in the midst of all of this for choosing to spend some time together today. And I'm going to be now moving on to doing some other preparation for connecting in other ways and invite you to do that too. Also, that's interesting. I was just thinking about that I hadn't nourished myself, and my throat said, "That's right, you haven't nourished yourself. So go get out there in the kitchen and get something to keep that flow going before you." so, so thank you so much. It's lovely to see your faces today, and much love to you. Until next time.